Sometimes life pulls the mind in many different directions. There are so many voices from the outside world telling what to think, what to do, and how to feel. With all this noise, the mind can feel cluttered, foggy, and disconnected. When that happens, it's not a failure. It's a message, a gentle whisper from within, asking to return to peace, to clarity, to self-love. This is not something to be fixed in a hurry. It is an invitation to slow down, to realign, and to treat the mind with kindness. Feeling out of balance mentally can be tiring. The thoughts feel heavy. The emotions feel stuck. And even the body can start to feel the effects, the tension, the restlessness, the fatigue. But it is important to know that this is not permanent. Every mind, no matter how overwhelmed, can find peace again. And it doesn't require grand steps or big changes. It only asks for a little gentleness each day, a little awareness, a little care, and a lot of love. When the mind is racing, when thoughts are spinning like a storm, the first step is to pause, to breathe, to let the breath soften the tight spaces inside. Just one deep, full breath can be the beginning of a shift, and then another. Each breath says, "You are safe, you are supported, you are not alone." There is so much power in that pause. It's a moment of stillness in a busy world, and that stillness is healing. Sometimes there's a belief that being mentally strong means always being sharp, focused, and productive. But true strength often looks very different. True strength is being able to stop when needed, to notice when something inside is calling for attention, to respond with compassion instead of pressure. The mind doesn't heal through force. It heals through softness, through practice, through patience. It's okay to feel off. It's okay to feel scattered. These are simply signs that something inside is ready for loving attention. The mind is not the enemy. It's a part of the self that's doing its best to protect and guide, even when it doesn't always know how. When it is treated with kindness, it begins to relax. When it is listened to, it begins to let go. And when it is loved, it begins to realign. The journey to mental clarity doesn't begin with a plan. It begins with presence, just being with the self without judgment, sitting in silence, placing a hand on the heart, saying softly, "I hear you. I understand. I am here." These are not just words. They are medicine. They soothe the nervous system. They calm the overthinking. They bring the mind back home. Every person has an inner wisdom, a quiet place that already knows the way, but that voice gets buried under layers of stress, worry, and old beliefs. The practice of gentle realignment is about making space for that voice to rise again. It doesn't shout. It whispers. It gently nudges in the direction of peace. And the more it's honored, the louder it becomes. Mental realignment isn't about controlling every thought. It's about choosing which thoughts to believe. It's about noticing the stories the mind tells and asking, is this true? Is this loving? Is this helping me? If the answer is no, then gently it can be released. There's no need to fight. Just let it float away like a leaf on water. In this gentle practice, affirmations can be a beautiful support. They are not magic spells. They are reminders, seeds planted in the garden of the mind. With each loving phrase, the soil gets softer, the roots grow deeper, and new life begins to bloom. An affirmation like, "It's safe to relax my mind," or "I give myself permission to think kindly," can open the door to a new mental state. They don't need to be perfect. They only need to feel true. There is no rush. Healing isn't on a timer. Some days will feel clearer than others. That's okay. Progress is not a straight line. It's a dance, a wave, a rhythm. What matters is the willingness to keep returning to the breath, to the body, to the present moment. Each return is a victory. Each pause is a gift. Even when the outside world feels chaotic, the inner world can be a sanctuary. It takes gentle tending, like a sacred space within. Each time the mind is treated with love, the entire being benefits. The heart feels lighter, the body feels safer, the spirit feels stronger, and life begins to flow again. Thoughts come and go, like clouds in the sky, but beneath them, the sky remains, wide, clear, unmoved. The true self is like that sky. Thoughts are visitors. They can be observed. They can be thanked. They can be released. And the more this is practiced, the more the mind learns to rest in stillness rather than in struggle. No matter how long the mind has been running, it's never too late to begin again, to create a space of peace, to choose softness over pressure, to believe that change is possible, not because something is wrong, but because love is always calling, always inviting a deeper connection, a gentler way of being. So take a moment right now, place a hand over the heart, breathe in slowly, and say softly, I am willing to be kind to my mind. Let those words settle. Let them land. This is how it begins. Not with effort, not with force, but with willingness, with tenderness, with love. When the mind feels busy, loud, or stuck, it's easy to believe something is broken, but nothing is broken. The mind is simply tired. Tired from carrying too much, trying too hard, holding on to things that are ready to be let go. What it needs is not more demands. It needs softness. It needs space. It needs to feel safe again. This journey of mental realignment isn't about perfection. It's about presence, about showing up for the self day by day with curiosity and care. It's about building a relationship with the mind that is rooted in love, not in fear. And every gentle step taken is a powerful one. Each moment of kindness builds a foundation for deeper healing, clarity, and peace. Mental disarray can feel like a tangled thread, thoughts crossing over one another, emotions mixed in, a tightness that won't let go, and that can create a sense of being stuck. But just like any thread, with patience, the knots can be loosened, the tension can ease, and the pattern can be rewoven, not rushed, but lovingly reshaped. Sometimes this mental tangle has been building for years. It can come from childhood beliefs, from repeated disappointments, from trying to please too many voices outside of the self. Slowly, these pieces layer up until the original voice, the one filled with calm, clarity, and self-trust, gets buried beneath it all. But even if it's quiet, that voice is never gone. It waits patiently. It waits with love. One of the most healing things anyone can do is to allow the mind to feel, not to push away discomfort, but to meet it with care. A gentle question like, "What do you need right now?" can open doors. It may be rest, it may be forgiveness, it may be a simple breath. Whatever it is, it deserves to be honored. The mind is not a machine, it is a garden, and gardens need tending. They need sunlight, water, time, and care. Sometimes weeds grow, old patterns, painful memories, harsh beliefs. That's okay. Weeds don't mean the garden is ruined. They just mean more love is needed, more gentleness. And with that love, new growth is always possible. In this space of gentle awareness, powerful things begin to shift. The mind starts to trust again. The body relaxes. The spirit rises. All from the simple daily choice to treat the self with compassion, to stop chasing perfection and start embracing presence. So even if today feels heavy, even if the thoughts are tangled, there is still a way forward. Not by pushing harder, but by softening more, by choosing love over judgment, by meeting the mind like a dear friend who is doing the best it can, because that's exactly what it is. The healing begins here, in this breath, in this moment, in this simple decision. I am willing to see my mind with love. Say it, feel it. Let it guide you forward, because that is where real change begins. Not in the mind alone, but in the heart that learns to love the mind again. There is a gentle rhythm to every day, a soft heartbeat beneath the noise of schedules and plans. When that rhythm is honored, the mind begins to settle. When that rhythm is forgotten, the mind starts to race. In truth, the thoughts that feel overwhelming often begin as tiny habits, repeated day after day until they become patterns. The beauty is, just as these patterns were built, new ones can be created with awareness, with kindness, with daily mental habits that support calm and well-being. Every thought is a choice, and although not every thought can be controlled, the ones that are noticed can be shaped. There is such quiet power in asking, what am I choosing to believe right now? That one question can open a space between reaction and response. In that space lives freedom. The freedom to decide if a thought is loving or harmful, if it lifts up or tears down, if it brings peace or adds stress. Many minds have been trained to expect the worst, not out of weakness, but out of protection. It's an old survival strategy, built long ago, often when safety felt uncertain. But the world has changed. The mind is not in danger now. It is learning to feel safe again. And that safety grows with every kind, nurturing habit that is planted. Beginning the day with a loving thought can change the direction of everything that follows. It doesn't have to be complicated. Something as simple as, today I choose thoughts that support my peace, can act like a light that shines into the mind. It's a small act, but repeated daily, it rewires the way the mind speaks. It softens the sharp edges. It invites a sense of trust. Thoughts influence feelings. Feelings influence actions. And actions shape reality. This is not just an idea. It is the flow of energy that we live in. When a thought is rooted in fear, it creates tension. When a thought is rooted in love, it creates ease. One leads to contraction, the other to expansion. One builds walls, the other opens doors. And the door to clarity is always opened by a thought that says, I am safe, I am enough, I am loved. Gentle, loving repetition is the secret, not force, not demand, just quiet consistency. Thoughts are like pathways in the mind. The more often they are walked, the smoother they become. If an old critical path is often walked, it becomes familiar, but not helpful. If a new, kind path is chosen each day, eventually it becomes the default. That is how healing happens. Slowly, gently, with patience. Affirmations can be like new paths, not to cover up pain, but to offer a new direction. I think clearly and with kindness. I release the need to believe harsh thoughts. My mind supports my joy. These are not just words. They are invitations. Each one says to the mind, let's try a new way. And with each repetition, the mind begins to follow. The mind responds to emotion. When a thought feels good, the body relaxes. When a thought feels heavy, the body tenses. This is not weakness. It is wisdom. The body is showing what the mind is believing. It's a partnership. One listens to the other. When the mind is guided by love, the body feels safe. When the body feels safe, the emotions flow more freely. It's all connected. Gentle habits might include a few deep breaths in the morning before looking at any screens, or writing down 3 kind thoughts before starting the day, or pausing before reacting and choosing one small, loving statement instead. These are not grand acts. They are humble, powerful shifts, and over time, they build a foundation of peace. Nothing changes overnight, but everything changes with intention. The mind is not fixed. It is flexible. It is willing to learn. It just needs to feel safe, to feel supported, to know that the thoughts being offered are coming from a place of love. That's when it begins to trust. And that trust is the beginning of deep realignment. There is no need to rush. Each gentle mental habit planted today will grow in time. Some days will feel easier. Others may bring old thoughts to the surface, but even those are welcome. They are opportunities to choose again, to say, I see this thought. I understand why it's here, but I choose a new one. That is freedom. That is healing. So let the daily thoughts be like soft rain on a thirsty garden, not a storm, just a steady, loving presence. Let them nourish the soil of the mind. Let them make room for something beautiful to grow. The more gently the mind is treated, the more it begins to shine, and that light touches everything. There is a myth that strength looks like pushing, like force, like achieving no matter the cost. But in truth, real strength lives in softness, in gentleness, in the ability to pause and say, I will treat myself with care. That kind of strength doesn't burn out. It doesn't break down. It builds. It heals. It transforms. When something feels out of control in the mind, the first instinct may be to push harder, to force a solution, to silence the noise. But force creates resistance. It creates tension, and tension blocks the very clarity that is being sought. What the mind truly responds to is softness, openness, repetition, a sense of safety. Just as the body cannot heal while bracing, the mind cannot heal while under pressure. It needs space. It needs time. And it needs to know that it will not be judged. This is why gentleness is the most powerful practice. Not because it fixes things quickly, but because it creates the right conditions for healing to unfold naturally. There is such beauty in allowing space, in saying, I don't need to have it all figured out right now. That one sentence can dissolve layers of pressure. It opens the heart. It soothes the nervous system. It lets the mind take a breath. And in that breath, clarity often begins to return. Gentle practice means giving the mind a new message. You are safe to rest. You are safe to release. You are safe to realign. When this message is offered consistently, the inner world begins to shift, slowly, steadily, with love. There's no need to earn this softness. It's not a reward. It's a right, a birthright. Every mind deserves to be met with kindness. Every thought deserves the chance to soften. Every emotion deserves a safe place to land. This is not indulgence. It is wisdom. It is a return to wholeness. A simple practice can begin like this. Sit quietly. Breathe slowly. Place one hand over the heart and the other on the belly. Say softly, I welcome peace into my mind. Repeat it, not with urgency, but with warmth. Let the words land like a feather. No rush, no pressure, just presence. The mind doesn't respond to shouting. It responds to being heard. When a thought is loud and critical, ask it gently, what are you afraid of? Often, the answer is not harmful. It's scared, it's tired, it wants reassurance. When that's given, the volume lowers, the thought becomes softer, easier to understand, easier to release. This is the gift of gentle practice. It builds a relationship with the mind based on understanding, not control, based on trust, not demand. The more this relationship is nurtured, the more peaceful the inner world becomes. Not perfect, but peaceful. And peace is more than enough. Even on difficult days, the choice to be gentle remains. It is always available, not just when things are calm, but especially when they are not. Because in those moments, gentleness is not just helpful, it is essential. It is the bridge back to clarity, back to calm, back to love. So let each breath be a reminder. Let each moment of softness be a step toward healing. Let each kind word be a gift to the mind, and trust that with gentle practice, the mind will realign, not all at once, but moment by moment, breath by breath, with love leading the way. When the mind has been running in circles, sometimes the heart just wants to be seen. One of the simplest and most healing ways to begin that seeing is through mirror work. Not to judge, not to fix, but to witness, to look gently, lovingly into one's own eyes and say, I'm here, I care, I am learning to love myself. It may sound simple, but these words hold deep power. They begin to undo years of inner harshness. They begin to speak a new language, the language of self-kindness. At first, standing in front of a mirror can feel unfamiliar, perhaps even uncomfortable. That's okay. This practice is not about performance. It's about presence, just showing up, even for 1 minute, and offering the self a moment of care. A glance that says, you are worthy. A whisper that says, you are enough. This isn't pretending, it's remembering. Returning to what has always been true but may have been forgotten. The mirror becomes a sacred space, a place where no masks are needed, where the truth can rise gently. Some days, tears may come. Let them. That is healing. Some days, a smile may bloom. Let it. That is transformation. And on other days, there may just be stillness. That too is perfect. All of it is welcome. Mirror work is not about changing the reflection. It's about changing the way that reflection is seen. When the eyes meet with love, the entire body responds. The breath deepens, the shoulders soften, the mind feels less alone. It begins to understand. I am here for me. I will not abandon myself. A simple practice might be to begin each morning by placing a hand on the mirror and saying, I love and approve of myself. Say it once, or twice, or as many times as feels right. At first, the words may feel distant, but with time, they begin to sink in. They begin to grow roots, and those roots reach deep into the heart of the mind, inviting healing. It's okay if it feels silly. That is often just the old voice of judgment trying to stay in control. But the truth is, this kind of love is not silly. It is sacred. It is the kind of love that rewrites old beliefs, that replaces doubt with faith, that turns fear into gentleness. Even just a few minutes of mirror work each day can begin to shift everything. It creates a quiet moment of truth. a space where no one else's opinions matter, where no old stories are allowed. Just the pure, present love between the self and the self. That is real magic. That is the beginning of mental peace. There is so much noise in the world, so many voices, opinions, and influences. They pile up inside the mind like clutter in a room. And when the space is cluttered, it's hard to think clearly, hard to feel at ease. That's why making space, clearing the mental clutter, is such a powerful act of love, not through harshness, but through self-kindness. Mental clutter can come from beliefs picked up over time. I'm not good enough. I have to be perfect. I must make everyone happy. These thoughts may have helped once, but now they weigh heavy. They are like clothes that no longer fit. It's time to release them, to say, thank you for trying to protect me, but I choose a new way now. One beautiful way to begin clearing is through journaling, not to write perfectly, but to let the thoughts out, to give them space to move. A few questions can open the heart. What thought keeps repeating that no longer serves me? What would I say to myself if I spoke only with love? What belief have I outgrown? Let the answers rise without judgment. As the words flow onto the page, something begins to shift. The mind begins to relax. It says, you're listening. You care. And in that listening, healing begins. Not because the problem is solved, but because the self is finally being seen. It's also helpful to ask, whose voice is this? Sometimes the thoughts in the mind don't even belong to the present self. They were handed down from early experiences, from culture, from others' pain. Once this is seen, the choice becomes clear. Do I want to keep carrying this, or am I ready to put it down? This is not about pushing anything away. It's about bringing light to it. When clutter is seen clearly, it begins to dissolve. When harshness is met with compassion, it begins to soften. And when love is offered instead of judgment, the mind begins to breathe again. Releasing old thoughts makes room for new ones, not just any thoughts, but nourishing, loving, empowering ones, the kind that say, I am allowed to grow, I am allowed to rest, I am allowed to feel free. These thoughts aren't just words, they are gifts, food for the soul. In clearing mental clutter, there may be moments of grief. That is normal. Letting go of old patterns is like saying goodbye to an old friend. Even if that friend wasn't kind, the grief is not a step backward. It's a step deeper, into truth, into clarity, into love. So be gentle, allow space, make room, let the mind feel light again, let it breathe, and trust that every thought released is making space for something beautiful. The mind is like a garden. Whatever is planted grows. If seeds of fear, doubt, and worry are planted daily, that is what will fill the space. But if seeds of love, peace, and encouragement are chosen, the entire inner world begins to transform. And that transformation starts with a decision to nourish the mind with loving thoughts. A loving thought is like sunshine. It warms everything it touches. It opens the heart. It brings energy and life. Saying, I am doing my best, and that is enough, is a ray of that sunshine. Saying, I choose thoughts that help me feel good, is a gentle watering of the soul. The mind listens, always. It listens to every word, every tone, every belief. That's why it's so important to speak to it with care, just like one would speak to a child learning something new, with patience, with encouragement, with love. There is no need to be perfect. This is not about having only positive thoughts. It's about choosing loving ones more often. And when a harsh thought arises, to meet it with kindness, to say, "Ah, I see you. But I choose something better now." One practice that supports this is visualization. Picture the mind as a beautiful space, maybe a garden, a home, or a quiet room. See it filled with light, with warmth, with peace. Imagine loving thoughts flowing through it like a gentle breeze, clearing the old, inviting the new. Even 1 minute of this can shift the energy. It reminds the mind that peace is possible, that joy is allowed, that love is safe. Affirmations here can be soft and simple. I am kind to my mind. My thoughts support my healing. Every day I choose love. Repeat them like a lullaby. Let them echo through the mind. Let them sink in. As loving thoughts are chosen again and again, the mind becomes a safer place, a place of encouragement instead of criticism, of possibility instead of fear. This is not just self-help, it is self-respect. It is a sacred act of returning to the truth that everyone is worthy of peace. The body feels the difference too. When the mind is nourished, the shoulders loosen, the breath flows freely, the heart beats more steadily. Everything inside says, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. Let the thoughts be chosen like flowers in a garden. Let them bring beauty. Let them offer comfort. Let them remind the soul of what it already knows, that love is always available, that peace is always possible, that healing is always unfolding. Each small choice adds up. Each kind thought is a step. Each moment of compassion is a gift. And the more this is practiced, the more natural it becomes. Until one day, the mind feels like home again. And so, dear one, this journey of mental realignment, it doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for gentleness, for presence, for a willingness to return to love again and again, through breath, through thought, through kindness. Healing is not a destination. It is a way of walking, a way of living, a way of being in relationship with the self, with the mind, with the world. Every day offers another chance, another step, another opportunity to say, I choose love. So let this be the beginning or the continuation of that journey. One soft breath at a time, one loving thought at a time. The mind is listening, the heart is ready, and the spirit is already cheering you on. You are doing beautifully, and even on the days when it feels messy or slow, you are still growing, still healing, still returning to truth. And the truth is this: you are enough, you are loved, and you are never alone. Take a breath now. Place your hand gently on your heart. Say softly, I am willing to see myself with love. Let that be the light that leads the way. All is well, and so it is.